Welcome, Phoenixes, to Your Life After Tech. You can find us on YouTube and Twitch at Your Life After Tech. Won't you please subscribe and support us there? I'm Debbie Levitt, and I'm here every Wednesday to take your questions. It's kind of free, open mentoring, career coaching kind of stuff, all related to jobs and layoffs and career direction. If you ask your question live in the chat, it will show up on the screen, possibly with your name. So for those of you who would like to ask a question anonymously or a little bit longer question, up here behind me is lat.link/Q for question. If you fill that little one question survey out, it'll pop up in my email and I can get the questions up on the screen. So let's start with, we got two questions ahead of time. One came right after the show ended last time. I'm so sorry we missed it, but we always grab your questions and hold them, and you'll be the first next time. So you can ask questions at lat.link/Q all week long, and we'll save them. So let's get the first question up. And this question said, do you foresee a resurgence of non-screen related experiences? I often feel like we're due for the pendulum to swing back the other way. Can you imagine any context in which this could happen? Thanks. Interesting question. And I think this has to do with how a lot of the digital experiences seem to be losing jobs, losing attention, not getting the same budget and buy-in, and not the same quality that we saw in years past. So do I think that non-screen experiences will be rising or increasing or improving? I can say I hope so. And I think the interesting thing there is the amount of variation across a non-screen experience, because that could be anything from walking into a bank to going to a hotel to going to a supermarket, going to a Disney park, hashtag not sponsored. There's so many non-screen experiences. These are very often our personal touch points with a company or their products and services. I think service design is still a little bit stronger right now, so I'm hoping it will hold on and will still be done by experts and not be lost to anybody who feels like doing it or wants to give it a try or is going to guess at it or AI is going to guess at it. So I am hoping that non-screen experiences will have a longer life. Can I imagine contexts in which this could happen? Mostly because I think some companies understand some of the complexity of these, whereas they tend to think screens are screens. Anybody can design a screen. They can draw boxes and arrows, but the non-screen experience sometimes feels like something that needs to be planned better, more strategic, more service design. So I think there are contexts in which we could see service design and non-digital product and service design remaining strong or getting stronger. But, you know, it's hard to have hope in a lot of these things right now. And of course, if I say, oh yeah, that's going to go on the rise, then everyone's going to go, oh, I'm going to switch into that. And that's been tough as well, because I had someone give me the advice of like, hey, Deb, you know, a lot of your past work looks like service design. Why don't you go for service design jobs? And I found that I kind of don't qualify because they're expecting me to have a very traditional service design project in my past experience, in my portfolio, to be able to go into an interview and say, yes, this is my very traditional service design project. And I don't have that. I have lots of pieces that look like service design. And so who's going to get that job? The person who has done the service design a little bit more formally or traditionally. So that's my concern and why I'm not really giving people the advice to go for that stretch job, you know, because service design would accidentally be a little bit of a stretch for me, only because even though I've done pieces of it, I can't say I've done a service design project the way a service design expert is going to expect to see it. So yeah, thank you for that job. I hope that helps. If you have a follow-up question to that question, even if that wasn't your question, please feel free to ask it. This live stream is for you, and it's kind of your free mentoring and coaching. And again, you can ask in the chat, though your name will probably come up on the screen, but I'm catching the chat from LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. If you'd like to ask anonymously, it's at the top of the screen, lat.link/Q. Let me get the next question up while I wait to see if people have other questions. So this was the second question that I got during the week since I last saw you all last Wednesday. This will be every Wednesday. It said, I saw a post on LinkedIn saying that nobody should advise that tech workers take jobs like at Walmart where they will make $15 to $20 per hour. They said that wasn't enough to live on, so nobody should recommend those low-paying jobs. Do you agree? Well, I think that this is a very personal thing. So first of all, I think there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart. I think there's no job that we should see as beneath us. It's something that I go into in the Life After Tech book. I don't think that there are jobs that truly are beneath us. And I think that especially when times are tough, we should be open to more stuff. That being said, not everybody can make a lower paying job work for them. That's why part of the book goes into budgeting and looking at, are there things that we can change or reduce or renegotiate or cut that can help us cut our expenses? Because I find a lot of people are afraid of taking lower paying jobs because how am I going to pay these bills? And I say, well, can we also find a way to adjust the bills? So if Walmart paying $15 or $20 an hour with or without health insurance doesn't work for you, I can't tell you that it does work for you, and I can't tell you that it should work for you. I can only tell you that depending upon your situation, I wouldn't count anything out, and depending upon what's going on in your life, making some money might be better than making no money. So I think these are things to think about. And I also think we have to compare it to what are tech jobs paying right now. Some of the tech jobs that I have seen recently or even interviewed for were paying $30 an hour, some of them in the 20s, some of them a little bit higher, and some of them noticeably higher, but it's a much bigger range than it used to be because at my level of experience, I used to expect a certain higher range. But now, especially with titles being kind of sloppy, I'm finding that there are jobs that are out there, say in UX, though you might work in product management or engineering or marketing or something else. And a lot of these aren't paying dramatically better. Some of them have been 20-something or 30-something an hour, making Walmart's 20-ish an hour suddenly not look that far off from what a tech job might pay. So I would say before you count it out, make sure you want to count it out. Make sure it really doesn't work for you. Make sure it's worse than whatever you're doing now. Maybe it's something you can do temporarily, and maybe it's something you just stick with. I think about a friend of mine who, when he has trouble finding work, he goes and works at Home Depot, #not-sponsored, and he found that he really liked it. He found that it was relatively low stress. He liked schmoozing with people. He liked helping them out with their home improvement projects because it was something he's already good at. So he went into it with some of those skills and abilities, and he's kind of stuck with it. And he tells me he likes it, and the people like him, and he can make lots of sales and schmooze lots of people, and it just kind of fits with his personality traits. So I make no assumptions about any job or what it pays, and I'm certainly not going to judge anybody. If someone says to me, I couldn't find a product management job, so I'm now a secretary, or I'm working in fast food, or I'm a substitute teacher, or like, none of these are bad jobs. None of these are shameful jobs. And even if you think you have to say them with shame, you don't. You know, part of the problem, but not part of the problem. The shame is part of the problem. Part of the reason I'm doing these live streams and writing all of the articles at the Life After Tech Medium publication and the Life After Tech newsletter on LinkedIn is because we have to start talking about these things. These things aren't shameful. There's nothing wrong with saying, I had some sort of tech career. I liked it. It went well. I made some money. There were things I liked about it. There were things I didn't. And it might be done. It might be time for a new career. And I think almost all of us know somebody who reinvented themselves at least once and moved into a completely different career. And we can do it too. I just know right now for a lot of us, it's very scary. We don't know what that's going to look like. We don't know if that's going to work. But again, that's why I wrote Life After Tech, so that you have a plan. There's 18 exercises in here. There is a clear plan that you can follow. I can't make you any guarantees, but I can tell you you are going to get exercises and advice that you're not getting anywhere else. Okay, so those were the 2 questions that I got so far. I'm totally open to any comments or questions that anybody has. You can agree, you can disagree, you can tell me what's on your mind, you can tell me about things you're thinking or feeling or dealing with. Again, this is your time for kind of group mentoring and coaching. Yes, it's on YouTube, so you might not want your name on it, or you can have your name on it, because I think there's no stigma or shame here, but you can always send an anonymous comment or question or thought or feeling or whatever's on your mind to lat.link/Q. If for some reason the show ends before I get to receive your question, just know that I'm planning to do this every Wednesday. I hope to be able to make it next Wednesday. I'm going to be speaking at a conference, so I might be running back to my hotel room to get online and broadcast to you. But worst case scenario, we'll skip next week and we'll do the following Wednesday. But yeah, over at lat.link without the Q, or scan the QR code, you'll find the lifeaftertech.info website. And on the resources page, we've got all the things. The articles, the free Patreon, the free Discord community, which is heating up. We've got 130 people there now. So yeah, Life After Tech is still new. It's been out for about 2 weeks, but we're getting going. Oh, and the podcasts have started publishing too. Check your favorite podcast universe for your Life After Tech. Our first episode is out. I've got 3 more in the can ready to go, and they're going to come out every Thursday. Let me just check if there are any other comments. Thank you for the people watching live on LinkedIn right now and sticking with me. And of course, if you have any comments or questions or thoughts and you don't want your name on the screen, go ahead and send something anonymous to me, even if it's just a hello, or send a hello with your name on it, either way. And I'm just checking LinkedIn and YouTube to make sure I haven't missed any comments. Nope. Oh, great. We've got more people watching on YouTube. Hey, anybody want to talk about jobs, layoffs, careers? What's next? This is free coaching time. Hi, I'm Debbie Levitt. Someone who's looking for a job, trying to stay in tech while building up my non-tech stuff. So I am also the Phoenix, and you are the Phoenix. So I'm just, this is my every Wednesday kind of office hours-y time, and here to help. So just waiting to see if anybody wants to send in a question or a comment. And they come into my email, so I'm just checking to see if I'm missing any emails, because that would be sad. But I'm not seeing any yet. And again, if there are no questions today, that's totally fine. We will be meeting almost every Wednesday. Again, I might miss next Wednesday because I'm speaking at a conference, but over on the lifeaftertech.info website, on the resources page, we have an events calendar where you can see what I've got planned for both the Life After Tech community and my tech community. I'm running both at the same time because people need help in all areas. I know dead air is boring, and I'm not allowed to play music or I'd get a copy strike. I guess I could technically play our theme song because I've paid to license that. Or actually, I'm waiting for the bill, but I have officially licensed that. Gotta set. Let me write that down. Send Mike money. Okay, good. Then I can say I will have paid to license that. Well, I guess we'll give it another minute and see if anybody has any questions. That can come up on the screen. People on Twitch, I'm watching you too. Oh, latest update on the campground, Melanie. You're so sweet. Thank you, Melanie. And if you've read my Life After Tech book, then you would know a little bit about the campground. So the campground is still a work in progress. That is one of the non-tech areas I'm working on going into, is to open up a camper stop or a place where people can stay the night in a tent or a van near where I live, which happens to be northeastern Sardinia, the Italian island of Sardinia. We are waiting to get an appointment with our surveyor who needs to walk the land and do some documentation. Once she does that, we should be just about ready to ask the town if we can have permission to move forward. If we get that, then that's looking good. Today we got some good news about the ownership of the land. It looks like the ownership will pass to my husband and his sister, so that brings it a little bit closer to us from ownership, because it was it was grandma's land. Grandma passed during the pandemic. Then it was, so we got some good news on that. So things are moving slowly right now on the campground, but we certainly haven't forgotten it. My husband's done some great work on it in the last few weeks. We learned that we might have water. I know that sounds weird, but believe it or not, that was an unknown. We might have municipal water. If not, we would have to dig a well. So we are still working on this, but we might have water. So I'm sorry I don't have big, bold campground news for you yet. I can only tell you we are still working on it. And once we put the request into the town to use zoned farmland for a not farming purpose, I promise we'll let everybody know when we hear. I have a good feeling, my surveyor has a good feeling, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, come on and stay with us. Get in your tents and your vans and your cars and your campers and your RVs and what else is there? Your trailers. And come stay with us. And there shall be internet and electricity, even if we're still working on the water. There's water a half-hour drive away. So worst case scenario, you got to go get some water. You got to come back. But we're still going to make a beautiful, beautiful place. I gotta get a picture handy so I can put the picture up here whenever we talk about it. But yeah. Oh, I feel so good when I talk about it, And that's one of the interesting things that I found in writing the Life After Tech book, was that even just starting to think about where things could go for me or could go for us as a husband-wife team started to make the darker days less dark. Was just knowing, you know what? I think we are going to do this, and I think we're going to be successful. We're seeing so many campers around Sardinia right now, and we know that the season is ending, and they're going to start parking in weird places and throwing their garbage in the wrong places. And And so we think that there's a demand for it. But it's interesting because it's, especially if we don't install water right away, it doesn't cost us a lot of money to do a kind of minimum viable product for the campground, or medium viable product, because I wouldn't want to just give them a parking spot. I would want to give them a parking spot and some utilities, something. Thank you, Melanie. And thank you to our new Twitch follower. Thank you so much. I hope you will come back. And if you are thinking about changing careers, whether or not you're in tech, I'd love to hear from you and answer your questions. Again, this is free career coaching advice. And considering this is our second stream, I'm happy we had 2 questions because we're just getting started. I'm planning so many things for the Life After Tech community that I almost feel bad for my other community, but that one's gotten a little quiet kind of naturally, so I'm just going to focus here a little bit. Like I said, we've got more podcasts coming. We've got 4 in the can, and I think I'm recording another one soon, so 5 podcasts on the way. They're also called Your Life After Tech, and they're available on all the main podcast platforms, or we're on Buzzsprout at yourlifeaftertech.buzzsprout.com. There's that coming. What else is coming? We've got a Patreon, which right now is totally free. I don't expect anybody to pay for it. I'm still building it up, but I'd love to see you there even as a free subscriber. So join. Again, these are all at lifeaftertech.info on the resources page. I'm not hiding them from you. You can find them all there. We've got 8 people in the Patreon, so it's a great start. We've had people downloading the audiobook and so far loving it, which is great. I've got all 5-star ratings on Goodreads and Amazon. So it's been a beautiful, heartwarming start for the book. And I hope that people will read it and tell friends. I hope people will maybe buy it for each other for the holidays. I think it might be the type of thing people are afraid to get for themselves because they might feel like they're admitting defeat in some way, but it's not a defeat. You are the phoenix. And we're all going to be rising up and trying new things, and we'll all be in the Discord community to support each other. So the Discord community is also free. What else? I will secretly tell you that I wrote and filmed, so shot's not the right word. I want to get away from that. I wrote and filmed a series of comedy sketches that I hope to be editing in the coming days and releasing on the Your Life After Tech YouTube channel. So Twitchers, you're going to miss it. Make sure you're also subscribed on Your Life After Tech on YouTube. LinkedIners, you're not going to see it. I might put up one as a teaser, but you're going to have to come to YouTube to see these. So right now I'm calling them bad job interviews. And so it's a little bit of comedy. Let's see if I can give you a preview of a character that I've created for this purpose. Let's see. This is my being interviewed by AI character. Hello. You have 1 minute to answer the question. Freaky, right? But it was kind of fun. So I've filmed a bunch of comedy sketches that I'm hoping people will, again, let people have a little smile, a little catharsis. So thank you again to Melanie for the question. If anybody has any questions, they don't have to be about me or my plans. They can be about you and your plans. I want to help all of you. So come on and ask your questions. There is no question that is unintelligent. There's no question that's unacceptable. There's no question that is, they're all welcome. It's what's on your mind. So if it's on your mind, send it to us. You can put it live in the chat like Melanie did, or you can ask it anonymously at lat.link/Q. And again, if I don't answer it today, keep those questions coming in. Maybe you're watching this video later, and I will save your questions for the next live stream. They'll generally be every Wednesday, though I might miss next Wednesday because I'm at a conference. Okay. Yay, some people watching live on YouTube and LinkedIn. It's a nice little start for an all new channel. I mean, the whole thing's 2 weeks old. I have to keep reminding myself that, I published the book 2 weeks ago and republished it a week ago because I had some Amazon metadata problems. So this is all a week and a half old. So all I can ask you to please do is after the stream, press like on YouTube, leave a comment on YouTube, helps us with the algorithm, and just tell friends. Tell all the people you know who are hurt and struggling and confused right now and don't have a plan and seem to be waiting for something. You don't have to wait for something. You can make a plan now. You don't have to take action on it now, but wouldn't it be nice to have a plan just in case? Hi, Debbie. I follow you. I see your posts all the time. Thank you, Henny. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions or thoughts on career change, a career change while staying in tech, career change leaving tech, let me know. But otherwise, I appreciate the hello. It's good to know we've got some people watching. And I will be staying up late tonight because I am starting a new course. I am also getting into upskilling. I am upskilling in an area outside of tech, and my courses run on East Coast America time, and I live in Italy. So today's orientation is midnight to 1 my time. But that's okay because I am dedicated to upskilling and trying new things. And I'm not just going to tell all of you to try new things and upskill or don't upskill. I'm going to be doing these things also. I'm doing them myself. I'm doing them with you. And I don't want anyone to think that they are alone in trying new things, taking new courses, thinking about what non-tech jobs they could go into. Somebody today showed me a graphic of the recent Y Combinator startups, and I don't think I've seen the word AI so much in, minutes. And it was so many startups that were basically looking to create AI systems that would... Well, they say they're going to help us do our work, but I think eventually if they help us do our work so well that they're doing the work, someone's going to think they don't need us. So I see the longer possibilities of these things and not just the initial Trojan horse of, hey, this might help you do your work. Okay, it might, but it also might help me right out of my work. So I'm going to keep trying new things and going in all directions. How about you? Oop. It's me on LinkedIn. Hey, there isn't too much of a delay this time. That's great. All right, so if there aren't any more questions, I will wind us down and theme song us out of here. Just checking again, if you happen to catch this late and you do have a question, you're welcome to ask it in our free Discord group where I'm there every day and so are other people, and we're helping each other. Or you can send it to lat.link/q, and whenever I do my next show, I will answer your question among the first, and you can just check the YouTube channel for the archives. There's a playlist of all of the live streams, so you can find it there. Just please subscribe to Your Life After Tech on YouTube, where you can find it at Your Life After Tech. Okay, DJ Riff Style says, thank you for this live. Currently studying Network Plus. Should I also look into cloud courses? So by cloud, I assume you mean cloud technologies, cloud storage, cloud security. Obviously, that's in the tech world, but from what I've been reading, that's an area that's still growing. So the area of tech that I come from seems to be stagnant or shrinking. I've been reading that cloud, especially security, cybersecurity and cloud security seem to be improving. I must admit, I am not familiar with Network Plus, so I'm gonna Google that right now. Troubleshooting, configuring, and managing networks. To me, anything that AI can't take anytime soon is a good way to go. Let's put your question up on the screen, since the one down here is going to be, there it goes. And DJ Riff Styles, how about DJing? Do you have a music part of your world? Hopefully the music part of the world is fun and brings out your passion, maybe brings you a little money. I don't know if you're streaming on Twitch and getting some bits thrown at you. But I think that what you want to do is true, LOL. Yeah, what you want to do is find some people who have, so I have two pieces of main advice here. Number one, go to sites like LinkedIn and Indeed. Look at the jobs that you're thinking of getting and reverse engineer the skills you're going to need. Take a look at still DJ. Take a look, well, you've got the name. Take a look at the skills that they expect you to have, and also check if they expect you to have a certain amount of experience. I've thought about trying to transition into jobs that are kind of adjacent to what I do in tech, and I found that all of them act like, hey, if you don't have 2 million years of experience, we don't want you. So you also have to check. It's great that you're thinking of upskilling and you're getting some certifications or things like that. I'm not against that, but is this an area where companies welcome relatively new people? Or can you go to a school that's going to give you some real work or apprenticeship or something, so that when you come out of that course, you match what the job descriptions are looking for? Because if every job description says we want 4 years of experience, I'm nervous that your certification isn't going to get you there. How do you get there? So thing one, reverse engineer potential future jobs, whether in Network Plus or cloud or cybersecurity, by checking what they expect you to know and be able to do, and check for jobs that are more junior or associate or even an internship, because you might have to start at the bottom and work your way up. So that's the thing one. Oh no, I forgot the thing two because I didn't write it down. I know it's in my book. Someone who's read my book, help me. Oh yeah, number two, and it's in the book, is make sure you find some people who are in these jobs right now, and see if you can find a way to learn from them good ways to transition into those jobs. See if you can learn if they accept newbies, if there are companies or jobs or certain titles for you to look out for where the newer person or someone with a recent certification is welcome. I'm going to be going through the same thing since I'm starting a new school tonight, and I hope to have the certification next year, and I'm going to have to hope that somebody out there wants the newbie. Interestingly, to get the certification I'll be getting, I have to do dozens of hours of real work and prove that. So I will have like a little bit of experience because it went with the certification. So that might help me a bit. But DJ Riff Styles, make sure you're finding some people who are doing Network Plus, who are doing cloud courses. Also, my impression of some of the Network Plus stuff, and again, I might be wrong because it isn't my area of expertise, is a lot of that can be on site in some cases. Like my last job was with the University of Arizona in the Phoenix, Tempe area. I don't know if you're in America or not, but I know they had a growing group of kind of on-site tech support for people who went to the offices of workers and faculty and other people and helped them with their networking and technical stuff. So I think another opportunity for you is to see if an in-person job might be good based on where you live and maybe based on aspects of your personality. Do you like to meet people? Do you like to talk to people? Do you like to help them out with this stuff? Or would you prefer a more call center or tech support kind of remotely, the live chat person type of job? So, think about that as well. And that's part of why my book goes into really looking at some of your personality characteristics so that you don't end up in a job that is a mismatch. Because I think an in-person IT person can, it can be more comfortable with certain personality types. But again, that's my guess. It's not my area of expertise. It's just something, I've thought about in the past. All right, we've got a question from yesterday in gaming. Good to see you again. Late to the party. Well, look, the party doesn't stop. If it's not here on YouTube, it's over on Discord. All right, so let's see. Hold on. Oh, I've got all my questions all messed up. Give me 1 second because I also saved these in a notepad file. Hey, thank you, DJ Riff. I hope you'll please subscribe. So we've got a question from yesterday in gaming. And it says, late to the party, I saw you answered my question about non-screen experiences. Yeah, sorry that came in after the last show ended. My follow-up question is, what are other areas or keywords to look into besides service design? Ooh, I think it depends on what you're going into. I mean, some of it could be industrial design. Some of it could be relevant to planning spaces. Since I am not the service design expert, I wonder if a good person to ask would be someone like Thomas Wilson. I don't know if you're following him on LinkedIn. He's pretty accessible and usually happy to answer questions. So I would look him up. Thomas Wilson, service designer in Texas. Picture, face, glasses, beard, mustache. I'm trying to think of what some other good keywords for service design would be. Probably experience design. I think some people are not necessarily calling it service design, but they're calling it experience design. I think some people are calling it a customer experience or CX program. I know that not at many companies, but at some companies, the CX people are responsible for some customer research, journey mapping, and then strategically recommending what we need to change based on the journey mapping. And of course, you don't have to do journey mapping. You could do a service blueprint and build that out more. The journey map is just the start, and the service blueprint adds the business side of things. You know, how are our hands in this, and what are all of the touch points and the things the customer sees or doesn't perceive but still exist. So I would probably be looking for things like experience design or CX programs, but probably the best way to go is to just put service design in quotes in a LinkedIn job search and see what other titles come up. Really, some of this kind of simple research and reverse engineering can probably give you a couple of good clues and maybe even better clues than I could give you. Did the LinkedIn stream stop and start again? This is why I ask everybody to please subscribe over on YouTube, Your Life After Tech. Please subscribe over there. The LinkedIn stream is just unreliable. It makes me grumpy. Plus, I think despite me having 42,000 followers there, I think they tell about 3 people that I've gone live. So please spread the word and please subscribe on the YouTube. Okay, we've been going for about 38 minutes. Let me know if there are any other questions. I don't see anything coming in anonymously, which comes in through my email. Yesterday in Gaming's question came in through email. The emails are completely anonymous. I had no idea it was Yesterday in Gaming, and I'm not even sure who Yesterday in Gaming is, though I think you know who I am. lat.link/Q will be the way to go if you have a longer question or you want to be more anonymous. Oh, great. Christian is here. Let's put up Christian's question. Okay. Paste. Here we go. Is this font big enough? Is it? Oop, wrong direction. How's this look for everybody? Okay. Okay. So Christian asks, in your opinion, what do you think is the career path with the highest potential outside of tech for someone transitioning from UX/CX product? That is extremely individual. And I go into that in the Life After Tech book. So it doesn't make sense for me to say, hey, everybody who's in UX, CX, and product, I think you should all be psychologists. That doesn't make sense, because then we're going to have 100,000 new psychologists, and then that field's going to be all messed up. That's why in the book, instead of telling you to chase your passion, which I don't, because I believe passions are sometimes best as hobbies, sometimes make good careers. It really depends. The way that I approach it is, we've got to take a look at your personality. We've got to take a look at your core personality qualities. I call them CPQs in the book, core personal qualities. I don't care about your typology. I don't care about your Myers-Briggs. I don't care about if you're a Sagittarius. I want to know who you are at your core. And that is going to better help me understand, if we were working together and I were your coach, what are some of the directions that you might go in. So basically, the book has 18 exercises and kind of takes you in slow motion through a better understanding of yourself through your core personal qualities. And then you start looking at a few other things, and eventually the book leads you through brainstorming some other areas. There's a Miro board for all of this, so you can use some Miro boards that I've prepared, or you can do things the way that you like. But Christiane, I can't just say, everybody who's good at UX or CX or product should all go into this, because if you joined this earlier, then you would have heard, I'm going to open a campground. What's that got to do with CX and UX? Well, read the book and find out, because I talk about transferable skills in chapter 9. Don't just jump to chapter 9. This book works best in order. So, but what are some other things I'm working on? I'm working on trying to help people plan and self-publish books. That's not necessarily tech related. That's just something I've become good at that I can help others with, and maybe they'll pay me a little bit of money to help them out. My favorite professor from university wants me to help him self-publish his next textbook because his publishing company went out of business. That's not necessarily tech, other than he's making me use WordPerfect. Can you believe that? WordPerfect, y'all? But he's my favorite professor, and I would do anything for him, and I'm hoping he'll pay me as well. So, so does that mean you should do that because that's where I'm headed? No, because it's all about what best matches my core personal qualities, because many of us have similar skills. If you come from UX and I come from UX, we might have similar skills, but what does that mean? Because we can't just move into a job just because we have a skill. I mean, I'm good at Microsoft Excel, but I'm not going to qualify for every job that has Excel in it. And in fact, I even asked a couple of AI systems what jobs I should transition into, and they gave me off the charts wacky stuff. It's comic relief in the book. Who's read the book and remembers what I'm talking about? This ended up also in chapter 9. I'm looking at my table of contents. Also in chapter 9, I had Claude suggest jobs for me, and those were depressing. And I had Google's Career Dreamer, a beta version of that, suggest jobs for me. And both of them just wanted to go by, what are my skills now? And to me, that's just a mistake. We are so much more than the skills we happen to have from the tech jobs that we've previously had. And we took some of those tech jobs and we developed some of those skills because of our core personal qualities. So I'm trying to peel away the layers of the onion and get everybody back to the super core basics and then build back up from there. So let's see if I can, where's my overlays? If you've seen me on YouTube before, you know I like the special effects. Pow. So in the book, you're going to learn about the Phoenix Flight Plan, where we start with core personal qualities. We then move into your sense of reward and what gives you a sense of belonging. And then we get to the grounded goals framework. Then we start brainstorming work areas. So notice I'm kind of getting you there in baby steps. Then we check for matching, because we don't want to go into an area that is unlikely to make money or be right for you. Then we get more specific, and then we start planning scenarios and looking at budgeting. So that's the approach that my book takes, which means it's not what's your passion, it's not Ikigai, which is total BS. I blow Ikigai out of the water and we replace it in the book. Yesterday in Gaming says, AI told me to transition from UX to AI developer. Yeah, Google Career Dreamer. I hope everybody's, if you're drinking something, swallow it now. because Google's Career Dreamer told me that one of the careers that I could transition into was water resource specialist. Really? Say what? Thanks for this. It was insightful, makes perfect sense. On my way to place that order. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. You can find the book at lat.link/book. And that will drop you on my site, where it'll link you to the digital versions, the print versions, the signed by me versions, and of course the Audible audiobook narrated, edited, and produced by me. Why? Because guess what? Did you know I have a certificate in sound engineering? Yes. In 1992, I got a certificate in audio engineering. I went to an audio engineering school. I cut tape with a razor blade. So I engineer all my stuff because I can. It's great when something you learned a zillion years ago kind of circles back around. So yeah, audio engineering, didn't end up making a career out of it. That's okay. But probably wouldn't now either, but it sure has come in handy to be good at digital audio workstations, right, DJ Riff Styles? If DJ Riff Styles is still here, DJ Riff Styles, what's your DAW? I want to know. Is DJ Riff Styles still in the building? So Christian, I hope you will subscribe over on YouTube. And hi, Jen Dungan. Do you have a question or a comment or a thought or a feeling or something you're reminiscing about? We are live. We're about 20 seconds apart, so stuff's a little delayed, but I am here to do live mentoring and coaching and advising in the Your Life After Tech multiverse. You can learn more at lat.link, which is my URL shortener. It'll dump you on the Life After Tech website. You can find the book. You can find the resources to follow me in places that don't have algorithms. So welcome, Jen Dungan. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing this show every Wednesday. You can send in your questions at lat.link/Q. Even when I'm not on the air, I will save them. They come into my email. I save them. I put them in a notepad document because I love Windows. And don't hate me. And then we will get to them in the next episode if we don't get to them in this one. I'm already yawning and I've got hours more to stay awake because I'm starting a new course. I'm going back to school, everybody. I'm upskilling as part of my own Life After Tech journey. I'm taking something that is not tech. And it's going to take a while to learn it and to get certified, but I have a good feeling about it. I'm going to go for it. Wasn't familiar with the book? Well, check it out. Thank you. Please do. It's for anybody staying in tech, leaving tech, you're done with tech, tech is done with you, or you just want to start planning what might be next, even if you don't act on it yet. It's highly stigmatized. Nobody is talking about it. There are other career change books, but nobody seems to be approaching it how I am. So I need some help getting the word out about the book, because I think we all know at least 10 people who could benefit from the book, but haven't heard from it or might be afraid of getting it because it all feels so scary. Okay. Yesterday in Gaming has a perspective and wants us to react to it. So let's do this. We'll put it up on the screen. Paste. Apologies for asking a lot of design-specific questions. These talks are... It's totally fine. I mean, DJ Riff Styles was talking about Network Plus and Cloud. I welcome all of the things. Not everything is going to be my exact experience, but that's fine. We're still here to talk about it. And as a person who does coaching with people who are like me and unlike me, I've got to be able to give everybody some help. So thank you. Okay, Yesterday in Gaming says, I want some critiques on this perspective. I feel like UX folks are more destined to wander throughout their career, maybe due to the nature of the job itself. I contrast this with coders and developers. I don't know. we've got some developers in our Discord community, and they've been laid off, or they felt fed up with tech, or they got pooped on by crappy startups that were abusive to them. I'm not sure. And then, of course, being a critical thinker, my question would be, who cares? Like, no offense, but what does it matter? What does it matter if UX folks wander more or less? It doesn't matter. It's going to be unique to each of us individually. I'm open to wandering, and I'm open to staying in tech, and I'm open to doing both at the same time. I'm open to getting that next tech job or consulting project while working on my non-tech stuff. Episode 4 of the podcast. So episode 2 is coming out tomorrow. They're going to come out every Thursday. So episode 3 is coming out next Thursday. Episode 4 is coming out Thursday, the 24th of October. And we meet someone who is a UX designer, employed, plans to stay in tech, but has been building up his art and his music, both as his deeply passionate hobbies and starting to make a little money on them as well. And so, you know what? Is he wandering? Is he not wandering? So what? So here's what I think you're asking. So this is where I put my coaching hat on. Which is tough because my coaching hat is green and I'm in front of a green screen. So this doesn't work particularly well, but this is my Yoda hat. So what I think you might be asking maybe is permission to wander. You're wondering, are people like me? And they're gonna, am I part of a group of people that is prone to wandering or open to wandering? And I say, yesterday in gaming, just do your thing. If you want to wander, wander. If you don't want to wander, stay on the path. Find new paths. If you read my book, I'm on like 8 paths at the same time. Why? Because I've got nothing else to do right now, and I'm going to roll every die or dice that I can. So if you're looking for permission to wander, you have it. If you're looking for permission to stay in tech, you have it. If you're looking for permission to do all the things at the same time, you have it. It doesn't matter what other UXers are doing. It doesn't matter if we're wanderers. It doesn't matter if we're not wanderers. It doesn't matter if coders have been wanderers, and it doesn't matter if coders aren't wanderers. So I think UX caught a lot of people transitioning in late because of all of the boot camp advertising that said, whoa, this is a hot job and it needs more people in it. So lots of people wandered in. But we heard that with coding and engineering too, just X years before. It didn't happen in like 2017-ish when a lot of UXers started joining, like 2017 to 2020, when a lot of people started going, ooh, maybe I should go into UX. There's all these boot camps. Because before that, it was a lot of engineering stuff. Everyone said, oh, be a coder. That's, you'll be set for life. Get into engineering and databases and all that stuff. So I think that I think people have wandered and changed. I had a career in the music business before I was doing website design. And then website design, like our guest on podcast number 4, website design led into UX design. And for me, UX design led into UX research. And oh my gosh, I used to specialize in designing templates for eBay sellers. That's somewhere between web design and UX. And I caught the eye of Seth Godin, and he wrote about me in his Purple Cow book. I was just telling someone that today. I've reinvented myself a number of times, and I'm not afraid of being a wanderer, and I'm not afraid of wandering again. I just know that I get the feeling my future isn't in my past. Like, I wouldn't go back to audio engineering because that's kind of gone the direction I thought it would. It's changed too much, and I don't think it's a viable career for most people, because a lot of people do it in their own home with their own equipment. I don't think I'd go back into the music business. I didn't really feel like I belonged there because I don't smoke, drink, or do drugs. I went to voice acting school, and I don't think I would try to go into voice acting because it's highly competitive and doesn't seem to pay that much unless you reach some really top stuff. And AI is threatening to take that over by having AI voices. So I think my future includes wandering, but it doesn't include wandering I've previously done. Yesterday in gaming, how's that? How did I do? Now I want to sing Never Did No Wandering from the movie A Mighty Wind. Is anyone into Christopher Guest mockumentaries, fake documentaries? Does anybody know Mighty Wind? Is Melanie still here? Sometimes Melanie, lives in my head and she knows the same references I know. So I don't know if you don't know Never Did No Wandering from the movie A Mighty Wind. It's a parody of like 1960s folk music. And instead of being about wandering, as many songs were about in the 60s, it's about not having done wandering. So there's some of your comedy and your parody. I'm also seeing an order come in for the PDF of my book. Thank you to that person for your order. Yesterday in Gaming says, I often find that I would like to have a static title that I can easily explain to others, but secretly wander. Agreed. Who cares? But it's nice to be able to say I'm simply doing X. Yeah, I don't think I've ever simply done X. I've always done the wandering. Oh, thanks. Yes, wonderful answer. I appreciate the extra energy you put into explore it deeper. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to do so. It's what we do here. I've always been a wanderer, and I've always been hard to define, but I think the running themes have really been my core personal qualities. That's kind of the commonalities across everything. Where are the commonalities across the work I did in audio engineering, the work I did in voice acting school, the work I did in a recording studio, which I tell one story about in the book, though I don't tell you all the things I did at the recording studio, running my own web design company and all this stuff. What are the common threads? The common threads are my core personal qualities, my personality, who I am, because who I am drives me to keep going in all of these directions. And now it's driving me to go in other directions. Some of those directions are staying in tech and the jobs that I've been applying to and the handful of interviews that I've been getting, and some of the things that I'm driven to that supermatch my personality qualities, which I go into in the book. The book has some of my personal stories since you're following my journey. Basically, I started going on my journey and started wandering away from tech and asking myself all the what ifs, and then had to kind of formalize my own process and say, well, let's give other people this process. I think it's working for me, and I think it'll work for others. So you don't have to have everything tied up nicely in a bow. I think we even go in chapter 13, I think, into how to talk to other people about what's going on with us, because it might not be a positive conversation and it might not be simple. So yeah, so what am I if you ask me, what am I doing? I don't have a simply doing X. My answer is I'm trying to stay in tech, in something in CX, UX, product, strategy, leadership, change agenty work in companies, plus my non-tech work of ghostwriting and helping others plan and publish books, and some courses I've been writing. I just published a course a few weeks ago on how to be a better writer and public speaker. That's out there at deltacx.academy. Excuse me, I made the mistake of drinking fizzy water. It was in the fridge. Yeah, what else? This summer I wrote a children's book. I'm not sure anybody cares, but it was fun, and I'll probably write another one. I think this book is great. I had a great time writing it. The people who've seen it love it, and it's all based on real pictures of my dogs and real stories about them, and it's for little kids. So what? How am I going to say I'm simply doing X? No, but I've never simply done X. I've always been juggling lots of different things. And I even think about one of my best friends. He used to work in QA. He got laid off years ago. He had trouble finding a job. He had to reinvent himself. He's getting into life coaching. He's driving Uber and he's writing books. You're not going to be able to find him saying I'm simply doing X. Haha, love the how to talk to other people idea. This is where I struggle. I don't want to be confined, but of course you don't have 20-minute conversation every time someone asks. Yeah, as I mentioned in the book, I try to read people and try to figure out how much I really want to tell that person. You know, if I meet a stranger somewhere and they say, hey, what do you do? Well, I either have to try to figure out which thing I do is going to be most likely to make sense to them or connect to them, or I have to come up with the elevator pitch of the short version of all the things that I do. So if somebody said, hey, what do you do? I'd probably say, I am... I don't know. I would have to work on this. I don't have a short elevator pitch ready, but I would probably say I specialize in improving, going into companies, improving their processes, trying to make them more focused on their customers, and I also write. Yes, I start rambling and see if they perk up when I mention any generalities. Yeah, it's basically like cold reading, like I am a fake medium and I'm going, there's someone in your life, there's a spirit coming through, someone whose name has a vowel in it. Do you know anyone with vowels in their name? Yeah, it's a little bit of a cold reading, fake psychic thing. Sometimes I try to read them. I take a look at what they're wearing and who they are and do they have pins on their bag and what are they into? Are they holding a book? I try to figure out something that's going to connect with them, but it's hard. When I was only doing CX and UX design work, that was definitely more I'm doing X, but that's been wandering over the past 6-ish years. And so it's hard. And sometimes I give everybody a different answer because I'm trying to figure out what's going to make the most sense to this person in this moment. You know, and now it's even weirder because I have one YouTube channel and community and book and things that are about working in tech and trying to make things better for customers and making processes more customer centric so that businesses can be more successful. And then I've got this other side, which is about career coaching and supporting people as they shift into new areas, and they're totally different. It's not gonna, it's yeah. I would say, especially with the holidays coming up, and I mentioned this in the book, just practice a simple answer. Actually, the way I wrote it in the book was from the perspective of the unemployed person who's going to be asked at holiday dinners, how's the job search, or what are you doing? So even if we're in our positions where we have some work or we have some things we're working on or striving towards, if we're going to holiday dinners, and I'm not, you might want to have some sort of short answer ready. Yeah, I give everybody a different answer. As a person who wants to be authentic, I struggle with how to be honest, direct, but not overly sharing. Sames. It's the sames. Sometimes if I meet a stranger, so what you don't know is on my backpack, I have a zillion pins. And a bunch of those pins are from my deltacx.shop. So they're Life After Tech and Delta CX and catchphrases from my other YouTube channel and quotes from my Customers Know You Suck book. And then I've got a rainbow pin. And sometimes someone will say, oh, I really like this pin. And then I'll go, okay, that's a point of connection. I can jump off from there. Or sometimes I go out in public wearing shirts with the catchphrases on it from the YouTube channel. So I've got a shirt that says, let's not congratulate ourselves just yet, which is a line my friend Eli wrote for me. And I've been on vacation and people have been like, Oh my God, I work in tech. Your shirt is so funny. How do I get one? Okay, point of connection. And I don't have to go up to that person and list the 4,000 things that I'm doing. I can just say, yeah, I work in tech too. Yeah. So, yeah. And maybe the answer is, you know what? I'm kind of going in a few different directions right now. I've been doing more writing. I've been applying to UX jobs and UX leadership jobs. And I'm helping my favorite professor try to publish his next textbook. That was kind of short, but it is a little all over the place. And so I think you also have to think about, how long do I want this conversation to last? If it's someone you like, then you can open with that, and now you have a lot of things you can talk about. If it's someone you don't like, a weird stranger, someone you don't want to have a long conversation with, I usually figure, I go for something that's going to end the conversation the fastest. And usually that's, I'm a consultant who goes into businesses to help them make change. And if they say, ooh, tell me more about that, I go, oh, sorry, that's confidential. So, I judge how long do I want the conversation to last. Okay, here we thought we wouldn't have an hour and we're running late. So remember that you can always send your questions to lat.link/Q. They come into my email even when the show is not streaming, and then I'll put them on the pile and answer them in the next show. I'll try to do these shows every Wednesday. I might miss next Wednesday because I will be speaking at a conference in Austria, and sometimes I find my travel computer isn't up for it, or the internet in the hotel isn't up for it. So if we skip next week, know that I will save your question and we will answer it later, or just join our free Discord community. We've got a couple of different channels there for people to ask questions, and we'll see it there. All right, so I'm going to get the end of show screen ready with the end of show theme song. And, looks like I need to fix some of the sizes of stuff, but I'll worry about that another day. So thank you again to everybody who joined live or is watching this later. And please do me a favor, find 10 people who are struggling, who hate their current job, or really don't want to go back into tech, or are having trouble finding that next job even though they want to go back into tech. And please tell them about the lifeaftertech.info multiverse. We're here to help and support. So everybody have a super week, and if I don't see you next week, I'll see you again soon. Thanks.
It's whatever, and it's never. Is it better?